On Pluto TV, they had the original series, Star Trek. I went to kick it on, little voice says, kick it on. Oh, so kick it on. It's the one where Christine, the nurse that's in love with Spock, tells him that she loves him, right? He says, I'm sorry. She says, Christine. He says, Christine, I'm sorry, right? And because he has this thing, he can't return that feeling. It'd be too hard because he already has enough shit from the bigotry from the Vulcans being half human anyway, right? And his dad, married an Earthling, which I and reproduced, and if the heart's there and you sit there and go, okay, wait a minute, he has Vulcan anatomy and the heart's here, but then how could the mom and the dad reproduce with wouldn't there be a radical, since the anatomy is radically different and the blood is different? Okay, if you mix the two, how is that going to work? And how, since the atmosphere and stuff is different on Vulcan, and you know what I mean? So you're sitting there talking about, it's like, they don't think this stuff through too good before they do it. They do that a lot with a lot of things, science fiction people stuff. When they sit there and they try to think stuff through, it's like, well, if it's and if you study the anatomy of a fetal pig, it's very similar to ours, and the anatomy to a dog and stuff. It's very similar. Okay, so if a Vulcan being a human life form, and and they're talking about the blood and the this and that and the different colors and stuff like that, I don't know how that would work with different atmospheres and stuff like that. But the anatomy would be probably pretty similar. Okay, if they're sitting there and and they show the predator and alpha predator and stuff, and so the anatomy is every when they invent a creature in their mind. Okay, typically the anatomy is very similar. It has similar structures like trees and so forth. Okay, so that's a symbiotic relationship with things in the universe to come together to form what we perceive as life that can communicate. And you see what I'm saying? Life sacrifice. And so when you get these kind of things, when you're watching that story, it's same old story has been told before. Same old conclusion keeps knocking at my door. Da-na-na-na-na-na, same old story, right? Good song. Yeah, good album. Yeah, it's one of my favorite albums. Um, Susie, you are. That reminds me of my second wife. But it's a good song. And but my favorites is Breeze Hammond. The How Can We Ease the Pain? That's a good one too. And so, but when you orchestrate it and add in the violins, if it was really happening, you wouldn't want to be there because it's very uncomfortable, right? When it gets to the part where he's breaking her heart, it can really make me cry. It's just like before, yesterday, once more. When that kind of stuff happens in real life, most people repel from the situation, don't want to be a part of it. It's none of our business. Like a person getting mugged in New York. Okay. The emotions, a lot of times, are very similar. Okay. And it's going to be very emotional. It's going to be very, and so what you want to do is avoid situations that dramatic. Okay. So you need to, when you have emotions that you feel for someone, you need to sit down and assess the situation. Is this going to be returned? And if it's not going to be returned, then you just go, oh, okay. Yeah. I've always been real good at that with women. You know, always been real. Okay, she's just not. Like the one little Indian girl that I attempted to date at Southwest Airlines, and then when me and Amy started dating, she was rude to me and kind of shitty. And then when me and Amy started dating, she came back, and I was like, "Why is she coming back?" And Sam Singer's like, "Yeah, it's because I was like, wait, but she was totally shitty to me, and I just left. I tried and thought, this could be fun. The relationship. She seems really nice. She was very emotional. Everybody's like, but she's already getting bald. She's going bald, and I ain't in love with your hair. And if it all fell out, I still love you anyway. If you wonder how long, I'm not a superficial or shallow person. I never have been. Okay. She was short, compact, and full figured, and her hair was long, dark brown, and pretty. But she you could see signs where she was gonna possibly go bald because of stress and toxic environments. My thing was always, well, maybe I can get her in a less stressful and toxic environment, and we can get her in a healthy place, move her up to Flagstaff, be like she lives in Kashmir, and see if we can get that hair to grow back. Like I was going to do with Miriam. Every time you want a cigarette, I'm just going to take you back in the bedroom and screw you. Like Llewellyn on that'll cut the craving for them cigarettes right there. So every time you think of cigarette, you're going to be like Diane Lane on Unfaithful at work going, what happened? I wanted a cigarette, and what happened? I thought about Earl taking, tells me in his bedroom voice, come on, honey, let's go make some noise, right? And then she'd get upset all the time because she'd be like, I'm stressed and I want to have sex with my husband, but now I want to smoke a cigarette because of all you military assholes, military grade piles of shit, which is unnatural. It's wrong. To be in violent conflict over what you want, as opposed to be grateful for the beauty of the gift of life, is radically incorrect. Okay. Conflict over what you want is destructive to self and others. Okay. Being grateful for the gift of life and honoring the laws needed that we need to follow to require that we continue life sacrifice. That's right. So you guys got to understand that. Well, I was born in New Mexico for a reason. It's respect. I was born a surrogate Mexican because of respect. Okay, it's about respect. It's about honoring one another, like the Apaches. Apaches have similar codes and similar religious beliefs to the Hebrews. And a lot of people see us as extremists. It's like, no, we're not extremists. Okay? It's 2 and 2 is 4. It's 7. That motherfucker wants you to gamble, drink Tizwin, and fuck around on your wife. Tell him to leave. Okay. Like Cochise. No, Galatle. No. You go by Geronimo. No Galatle around here anymore. That's what happened with Jay Silverhills and Jeff Chandler. It was the exact opposite. I walk away. Well, you're no longer Galatle. You go by the enemy. Go by what the Mexicans call you. Go by Geronimo. You're not Galatle anymore. You're not one of us. You don't love us and feed us. You do whatever the fuck you want. You get drunk. You go fight and you go kill. See if the Mexicans will protect you. Okay. And he lied about. Well, he didn't lie about it in his book. He said he hated Mexicans more than he hated the Americans. Well, the Mexicans were the ones that first killed his family. Why? Because he would get people drunk and go on a raid. And the Mexicans got pissed and tried to kill him. And Cochise and Mingus Colorados and Victoria told him, if you do that, they're going to come after all of us. Okay? There's a difference between a raid where you go where they're at and take what they have worked for. Okay? If their cow comes into our camp, it's our cow. Okay. We're not going to steal their cows, but if their cows, they turn their cows loose and their cows come to our camp, we're going to eat it. And we're not a cattle rustler. This is our land. And if their cow comes to our camp, it's our cow. Okay. We follow the laws of nature. Just because they don't doesn't mean we're going to be like them. Okay. You got to think like a Chiricahua. You got to think like a Mescalero. If you want to think like an Israelite. Okay. Don't want to end up like Bonnie and Clyde. Oh, me Israelites, right? You understand? That's what they were talking about. Okay? What's given to us by the glory of God is the bounty of God. What man takes and hoards and says you have to pay him rocks with dead people's face on it, that's an abomination. Do you understand us? If you understand us, in the valley of the Rio Grande, in a garden of roses, I said I'd wait for you, right? So, don't, if you get a lot of you women out there that think you're all that in a bag of chips, and you get Christined, okay? Don't worry about it. You won't have to go make a Stephen King novelette movie in order to pay your bills, and you won't have to have Pig Bug fall on Carrie at the prom there, okay? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, like I said, there's over 8 million people on the planet. Okay? And I'm certain when all this bullshit is over that there'll be a beautiful, kind, affectionate woman that I am attracted to. And I won't be, I'm sorry, Christine, right? Because I'm not Leonard Nimoy and there's no violin music playing right here. even though I like violin music. One of my favorites is, have you ever heard Holding On to Yesterday by a group called Ambrosia, David Pack? Do you love the violins on that? I like those even better than the violins on There Goes By My Baby by the Drifters. Because the sadness in it. I keep holding on to yesterday. I keep thinking that I'm lonely, but it's only missing you. And then the violins, that is a good ass tone. Yeah, I like that. Very dramatic. It is, because when you go through feelings and you have a song and you hear it. But as far as making it into theater for money, no. We have enough songs to last until the end of time on planet Earth, to remind us of that it's wrong, wrong, wrong to keep holding on. My yesterdays have all gone dry, right? Don't believe in your yesterday. It wasn't based on the truth of the Gospels. Okay? Believe that today you can accept the truth of the Gospels, and then all your tomorrows belong to Nancy Wilson. I'm just kidding her. It's funny. It's today I may not have a thing at all, except for just a dream or two. But I've got lots of plans for tomorrow, and all my tomorrows belong to you. Yeah, it may not seem like spring at all. We're drifting in the laughs of you. But I've got lots of plans for tomorrow. I love that woman. I have that on my MP3. The Scandis people just don't play it for me that darn much. They played lots of Luther Vandross lately, but not a lot of... They did play... Love Can Do Anything the other day. Did they play? No, I think I played that. I was going to say, if ever I would leave you, it would not be in summer. She's so good. I loved it, that woman's voice. I loved it to hear her thing. Yeah, she's one of my favorites. Her and Tommy Edwards, But it's not the end of everything. I love Tommy Edwards is one of my favorites. I got a boatload of his songs. There's a boatload more I'm gonna download because you guys are slow. Suzuki told me about that too, and so saying they're like, you can't allow their abuse to keep you depressed. I know a lot of people are depressed and you have affection and attachment to them, but you can't allow this science project to, the more depressed and sad and melancholy you get, the more it affects other people. But how do I go superficial how do I fix the technology and just, I'm gonna, how do I connect to I got archaic technology. I got an old Sanyo from Walmart and two Xbox 360s. It's not like somebody's going to show up and give me a brand new phone with Gemini on it and give me a new PlayStation or Xbox so I can start paying NIL money to get people to come to Las Cruces and get pissed because half my team left for Oklahoma, USC, and Washington the next season. Sounds like art imitates fuck. Yeah. Life? No. Life is living the Lord's Prayer. We're not doing that. Art doesn't imitate life. Art imitate fuck. You fuck. You shouldn't call that dog lifesaver. You should call that dog shithead. I'm picking out a thermos for you. There you go again. So is that Bernadette Peters? Is she an ornament for a Christmas tree? Wow. Is that Tim Curry? Let's do the time warp again. No. It's wrong, wrong, wrong to keep holding on. Your yesterdays have all gone dry. All those big buildings on the TV? Okay. That's egotistical self-destruction of expression of selfishness that evolves around idolatry and philanthropy. Those are big, giant murdering, killing fields, stacking people on top of each other so they'll be accessible to the murderers that sit high above all the carbon emission poisoning that kills everybody down the street that can't live in the penthouse. It's horrible. That's gross. Yeah, I know. Why are you still doing it, Sears Tower? Okay, guys, I love you, all right? Peace out. We'll talk later.